Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being with us here on this beautiful Monday afternoon. I hope everybody had a lovely Easter, if you celebrate Easter, and I hope everybody had a great weekend. It was a beautiful weekend. So today we're going to talk just about a couple of things, COVID and vaccinations. I'm going to talk to you a little bit, updating you on what happened at CJC last night. And then, of course, we're going to take your questions this afternoon. So, COVID, our numbers still look pretty good for COVID. The city of St. Louis numbers, we are averaging 22 cases a day, new cases a day. That's about 7 cases per 100,000 people. That's good. That's been about where the number has been for the last 2 weeks. It's bounced around between 20 and 25 a day for the last 2 weeks. So that's good. With regard to hospitalizations, and these numbers, as you know, lag 2 days behind, and they are the numbers from the Pandemic Task Force hospitals. And again, these numbers look pretty good. Yesterday, 2 days behind, total number of people who were in the hospital with either confirmed COVID or suspected COVID was 234. And some of you will remember that the goal for that was 350. And when I say goal, that was just the metric that we set. It was 350. And we haven't, it hasn't been at above 350 since February 24th, it looks like. And then just for a day or two. So that is, that's good news on that's been what, a month and a couple of weeks, I guess. 234 people in the hospital. Of those people, 50 of them are in the ICU. Of that 50, 31 are on ventilators. So again, hospitalization numbers continue to be in a tolerable range. In terms of number of patients admitted to the hospital, the 7-day rolling average for people admitted to the hospital is 33 as of 2 days ago. And that number has been ranging between 33, 35, 37 for more than a month. So that has been below our goal of 40 in people in hospitals. So that's good. Now is not the time, though, to really let up on your mask wearing or your social distancing, because we know that there are variants out there that are circulating, and in some areas of the country, particularly Michigan, New York, and some of the upper Midwest, they are seeing an increase in cases. So just be aware of that, and maintain your social distancing and your mask wearing, because we certainly don't want to see that kind of a surge here in St. Louis. We are at a plateau. We've been at that plateau for a couple of weeks, and sometimes that's a sign that you might be heading up the other way. But so just be aware of that. We still have, when we look at the map, we're still looking at some hot spots in the city of St. Louis. In the 5th Ward, that's downtown, on the northern edge of downtown. We see some in the 26th Ward, which is just a little bit north of Del Mar. We still see quite a few cases in Dutchtown, Gravois Park. So just something to be aware of, and don't let your guard down at this point, because we're doing well. Now, with regard to vaccinations, we had a vaccination event this weekend on Saturday. It was our 22nd, the city's health department 22nd vaccination event. We gave second doses of Moderna for people who got their first dose 4 weeks ago at Carpenter's Hall. That was, we gave first doses of about 1,350 people. And second doses, I think, was a little less than that. Not everybody made it back, but most people did. And then we also did first doses of Pfizer at the America Center, Convention Center off of Washington this Saturday, and we did over 1,000 of those. So those vaccinations, that's still going along well. And exciting news, this afternoon in about a half an hour or 45 minutes, I'm going to be down at the Dome, not the America Center, but the Dome around the corner. I'm going to be there doing a press event, which is for the FEMA event. The FEMA vaccination event is starting on Wednesday, full force on Wednesday. Everybody's getting set up there now. They're going to do a little practicing tomorrow, and on Wednesday they can have up to 3,000 people can get shots at the Dome. You enter, it's at entrance C. You do need an appointment, and all you have to do is go online and register for, it's on the state's website. We will post that on Facebook and Twitter. Again, we've posted a number of times. If you know anyone who wants to get the COVID vaccine, and City of St. Louis is prioritized first, please sign up on this list. This Friday is the 9th, and that's when everybody 16 and above is eligible to get the vaccine. So if you know anybody that hasn't had it, who's willing to get it, and I hope people are, although I talk to, I'm constantly trying to persuade folks to get it, please sign up. And FEMA is going to give the vaccinations 7 days a week for the next 8 weeks, so 56 straight days at the Dome. So this is the opportunity. Everybody who wants it should be able to get the shot at the Dome, and I hope you will get it. So that's vaccinations. And then some of you probably have read that last evening, I should say, we had a pretty dangerous, violent disturbance at CJC again, our jail, which is downtown across the street from City Hall here. Some windows were broken out. The good news to report here is that no staff were hurt, no police officers were hurt, no sheriffs were hurt as they tried to detain and get control of the situation. The only detainees that were hurt were 2 or 3 people who cut themselves as they broke the glass out, and they're not serious cuts. I should say they didn't have to be hospitalized, so we treated them there at CJC. I don't want to say they weren't serious, but they were cut. So only a few people were cut as they broke the glass out. So most of you probably know this, but maybe it bears repeating that we are underway right now, one unit at a time, replacing all the doors, all the locks, all the door frames, the electronic monitoring, which the locks is an electronic system. So that's going on right now. As soon as this unit is ready to be reoccupied, we'll move on to the next unit and the next unit and the next unit until all the units are done. So fortunately, no one was seriously hurt, and I think that that's the good news of that situation, is that no one was seriously hurt. And I think that's about all I have. Do you have questions?
Couple of questions. Many folks wrote in about getting their appointment and when they're going to find out whether or not they're able to come to the Dome that starts on this Wednesday.
Okay, I'm not sure I totally understand that question, but if you're registered, I know a lot of people have gotten invitations to make an appointment. So it's somewhat of a two-step process. So if you register on the Vaccine Navigator site, which we're going to post here, or maybe we just did, then you will get an invitation to get the vaccine. So is that the question?
Yeah, how to sign up, and then when will I be notified if I'm going to be able to get an appointment over the 8 weeks?
Well, you should be able to get an appointment over the 8 weeks. Exactly when, of course, they'll take in batches because they can do 3,000 a day.
Okay, we did get a question from Sarah asking about with COVID cases and a little bit of an uptick, how are you able to report bars or restaurants or businesses that are disobeying some of the social distancing and mask rules?
So Sarah, same as always, and I guess I want to say that we aren't seeing an uptick in new cases here in the city of St. Louis. There are some areas that are. Ours have more plateaued. In fact, we have by far the lowest number of cases per 100,000 in the region. The city of St. Louis is at 7.4 new cases per 100,000. That's how you get to the 22 average. Other areas of this region are at 15, 18, 12, 11. So the city has still been doing well. Now, at least a large part of that is due to the fact that the vast majority of businesses are following the guidelines. You have to be wearing a mask if you're indoors, unless you're seated at a table eating and drinking, or if you're outdoors, you have to wear a mask, and if you are going to be within 6 feet of another person. But if you think that there's a business that's not following the guidelines, then you can report that through the Citizen Service Bureau, which is 622-4800. If you go on the city's website, it's right there on the home page. Click on it. You can also report it electronically. We do need the name of the business. We need the address, what you observed. If you have pictures or something like that, you can upload them.
We got a question from two folks who are watching. Tony, this is on the CJC. Tony observes that some people have waited over a year for a court appearance. And when will detainees at the CJC be able to have a court appearance?
Tony, I think that's a good question. Understand the way this works. One, we detain whoever the judges send us. So if the judges decide that someone needs to be detained, the city is obligated to detain that person. It's the judges, the prosecutor, and the defense attorneys who figure out when that person is actually going to go to court. I talked today with presiding Judge Mike Stelzer. They are getting ready for jury trials again. They have a bench trial this week, and they've been doing pleas all along. And so there are ways to resolve these cases. I do understand, and I think that if you have been at CJC for quite a while, or MSI for that matter, for quite a while, the uncertainty of that is certainly very stressful on those detainees. Frankly, it's also stressful on the victims of those crimes. And, let's not forget about the victims of crime and also our employees who work at CJC. So all three parties, detainees, victims, and folks who work at CJC, certainly have an interest in getting their cases resolved quickly. It's not always the case that everyone wants their case resolved quickly. That's a legal strategy, and sometimes folks don't want it resolved quickly. So
that's all I have for new questions today, Mayor.
Well, that's all the questions. So let me just end with this, which is that tomorrow's election day. Everybody vote, of course. You'll decide who you want to vote for, but you're going to select a new mayor tomorrow. There will be 16 aldermen elected tomorrow. There are some MSD issues on the ballot, and importantly, certainly last but not least, I hope that you'll vote for Proposition E. Proposition E is the 1 cent, 1% earnings tax that for any money that's earned in the city or people who live in the city. And it is about 36% of the city's budget. So it pays for police, it pays for fire, it pays for parks, it pays for streets. All of the things and all the services that we all need and want would be tremendously affected if we got rid of the earnings tax. Now, some people say, well, we could replace the earnings tax with a different tax. We could. If we replaced it with a property tax, your property taxes would almost double. If we replaced it with a sales tax, your sales tax would go way up. So this is a tax that is paid primarily well, it's paid by anybody who works in the city. And a lot of the people who work in the city don't live in the city. So it is people who will use city services. And, you know, we maintain a police force and a fire department, all to support the businesses and the venues and the attractions that are here in the city. So please vote yes on Prop E. And at any rate, go vote tomorrow. Polls are open at 6 a.m., close at 7 p.m., and, you know, probably have some results. Ideally, we'll have some results around 10 o'clock. Doesn't always happen, but that's a good bet. Thank you all for being with me this afternoon. I appreciate it. Get out there and have a beautiful day. We'll be back and chat with you in a couple of days. If I don't talk with you on Wednesday, don't forget, Thursday's opening day here in St. Louis for the Cardinals. So go Cards. Thank you all.